You're listening to Speaking Stellar Girl with Teri Tamika, an interview series that inspires women to live their most stellar life. Teri is the co-founder of the Stellar Girl movement, and she is sitting down with women all over the world to hear about the key moments in their lives and how they live boldly, compassionately, and ultimately became a stellar girl.
Speaking Stellar Girl, I'm your host, Teri Tamika, and I'm thrilled today to have Tamika Tucker joining me. Tamika holds a Master of Science and is a thriving entrepreneur and a business owner. She is also a lifestyle influencer with a background in health and fitness and is committed to sharing her journey preparing for fitness competitions with her followers. She's a total go-getter, she's tenacious, and she always goes after what she wants. She is unapologetically herself and always levels up while surrounding herself with others who are just as successful and meets her energy level all the time. We have so much to cover today. Tamika, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, Teri, I'm so glad to be talking with you today and just catching up with you and the people that you connect with. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So let's give the listeners a little bit of a background, where you're from, where you're at, what your journey was and is, because it's always evolving.
Yeah, so just to start, I'm originally from Davenport, Iowa. Grew up there, was really into sports and fitness and health. So that helped me go to college on a track and field scholarship to Winona State University in Minnesota. I competed there, completed my undergraduate degree in communications. And then shortly after completing my undergrad degree, I went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I completed my master's degree. And then started my own business, became an entrepreneur, just learned the ropes, still kept into fitness, but had my own eyelash extension business and I sold human hair extensions. And yeah, till this day, I still have my business. After grad school, moved up here to Chicago. So I live in the heart of Chicago in downtown West Loop. Did some corporate work for a while and then, decided it was time for me to really focus on my business again and let it thrive. So here we are, being an entrepreneur, businesswoman, living downtown and, also doing my influencer lifestyle work. So it's been a dream being able to kind of do my own thing and support myself.
I love that, because so many women these days and young girls, they just have no idea where to start, what to do. And you basically found your passion, realized what you wanted to do, went back to it and worked your ass off to get to where you are today. And I think that's amazing. And you always talk about like your stellar self and how you give yourself self-care, how you give yourself time, how you prepare for your week, and you really go through like your journey on Instagram and with your followers. And I think it's so real and authentic that you do that.
Yeah, Teri, I think you really hit it on the nail there. Like, I feel like when you have a lot of women who have success, whether it's in business or something they're doing for their personal life, I feel like everyone thinks like, oh, it was just such a quick process for them or they had the resources to do it. But that's not always true. I've had very supportive family to motivate me to keep pushing and do this journey, but a lot of the things that I learned as an entrepreneur, I strictly did on my own and with a lot of trial and error. So for me, I personally like to share my experiences and my, progress and, this whole thing with entrepreneurship on social media so that, other men and women can see, the process of what it's like being an entrepreneur with a self startup versus, just having those connects always being thrown at you to help you out with everything. So I just want to motivate others and let others see that, the process isn't always easy and you don't always start having the resources. You kind of got to build that network and get yourself where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many people, it's not luck that brought you here. It's hard work. And there was a lot of successes and a lot of failures and a lot of reinvention actually during your adventure of where you are today. And that is extremely, helpful and motivating for all of us, and to remind us ourselves, even like, it's okay. You fail, you get up, you start again. And, we kind of go through that sort of ebb and flow of life, and that life is not going to be perfect. And all these opportunities are not going to be just given to you. You actually have to work so hard at them. And I love that you went back to your business and, because that gives you your own schedule. That gives you you make money while you sleep. And like, let's talk about that, because so many women are just so scared to jump in and to talk about money and to talk about their, how much money they make, how much money do they want to make, how do they save? and you're very open with that with your followers, and, your business is online, and, and now you have a store. So, I mean, let's talk about how you make money while you sleep. I love that.
Yeah, so that's a piece I'm really excited about. I agree with you. I feel like a lot of women are kind of scared to share, like, some of the profits they made or anything in regards to their like salary or how much they make. For me, I'm kind of like an open book in regards to that. As you know, on social media, I do share like quarterly, how much I'm making quarterly with my business, just so people can see, like, I might have started small, but look at where we're at now. Right. And so, for example, like when I met you, Teri, in Green Bay, when I had my brick and mortar, I was selling hair extensions, but I did eyelash extensions primarily out of my business location. And then I also sold clothing as well. And just with that, with eyelash extensions, I was making well over like $2,000 a week just doing eyelash extensions. That was just a very popular thing. So I was surviving just really well off of eyelash extensions. And then I ventured into doing like the hair extensions. And that's where a really big market is in beauty and health, is hair extensions and wigs. So once I ventured into that realm, that's when I created like an Etsy shop. I was selling primarily on Facebook at first. But once I got to Etsy, that's when my world changed. My monthly quarterly profit with Etsy when I first started was like maybe $1,000 a month just with the Etsy piece. I still had my eyelash extension business, so I was still thriving, doing well there. But the more that I built my shop up on Etsy and created my name and built rapport, I started making anywhere between $6,000 to $9,000 a month just on Etsy alone. And my big business has continued to grow and profit as the year has went, which has allowed me to, at this point, get rid of the corporate process, where I can focus on the things that are important to me right now, like my family, and just, doing the things I want to do in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And celebrating your successes along the way, but we have to celebrate our successes and then get back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
and that's, yeah. Go ahead. No, I agree. Like as much as, a lot of people on social media will see me travel and go have fun, I do that to kind of celebrate and reward myself for the things I did behind the scenes, because it sounds like you just list, my product on the website, but I know some businesses, especially that are as big as mine at this point, they'll use a lot of vendors to just send off their products. But I'm someone, I really enjoy the process of getting my orders together, writing little notes, making it more personable to me and my brand, so people can feel the warmth and the great feeling that I want to give them when they get a product from me. So I do all of my orders individually, and monthly I have anywhere between like 50 to 60 orders. So that's when I kind of knew the corporate piece had to go, because I didn't have the time to balance like a growing business on top of a corporate 9 to 5 days a week kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about, because I think that's just the fact that you just reinvented yourself, picked up, moved out of Wisconsin, headed to Chicago, where, your sister was there. Now she's, she decided to take a leap and move out to the state of Texas. And now you're like, okay, well, I moved here to be closer to my family. Now she's gone. Now you're like, I'm still going to thrive. I'm still going to succeed out here, and this is where I want to be. And Chicago is a great city.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you touch base on that piece of like moving. I definitely moved to Chicago to be closer to my family. With my sister Shannon, she lived in downtown as well. And so we just lived literally less than a mile away from each other, hung out with her all the time. But I primarily moved here to kind of build my business and see what my business can do in a bigger, thriving state. I know in Wisconsin it is pretty big as well, but I think in Chicago there's a lot of like business entrepreneurial individuals downtown, and it will allow for my business to kind of grow and get out there in the mainstream. And so my sister, being the entrepreneur she is, and she makes it work. She works both corporate and has her own business. So she's definitely someone that I look up to in regards to like, building myself, making sure that I'm stable and able to utilize what it is that my business can offer in corporate life at the same time. So it definitely hurt that she relocated, but within the year that I was here with her, she really taught me a lot in regards to just, building myself, knowing that the trials and tribulations you go through in life, at the end of the day, you can make yourself be bigger than what it was you were doing before, and just keep reinventing yourself. So as much as I miss her, she definitely taught me a lot, and I know she's thriving up in Dallas right now.
That's awesome. Let's talk about our love for health and fitness, because first of all, you and I worked out together. You kicked my butt on the track. I was a little bit embarrassed, but you should kick my butt on the track. You went to college with a track and field scholarship. But I mean, that is a huge part of Tamika. That is such a big part of your life. Being in this industry, you're also preparing for a fitness competition, which is a whole other ball game, absolutely, and takes discipline, motivation, consistency, meal prep. Let's talk. Can I ask you a little bit more about that and why you decided to compete?
Yeah, so the big piece behind competing, it's like when you've been an athlete all of your life, like I've had so much success with track and field, starting at such a young age in high school, going to state, competing at like a national level towards the end of my collegiate career. You kind of miss that competitive edge, that piece when it comes to fitness and health. And so for me, I didn't want to just like stop at track and field. I wanted to find another thing that was competitive, but also with fitness and health. So my sister Shannon actually competes in bodybuilding as well. And she's the one who kind of got me into the door of bodybuilding, knowing what it was about and the dedication that it takes. And I just wanted to try something different to see if I could be dedicated, but also look ripped and, just show off like the hard work that I did. So I got into competing pretty much, I was into it in college, couldn't really do it since I ran track. But once I, finished my career, that's when I really went all in. And here we are, basically starting prep here. We kind of edged into it, but my official prep starts September 1st. So tomorrow, I believe. And then my show will be at the beginning of next year, either in January or February. So
and it takes
it'll be a long couple of months.
It takes a full 6 months to get into competing shape.
So not for me. I think I'm just one of those people, like I want to give myself enough time. Like with my previous coaches, they usually have me be like maybe 3 months out and just start there. But I kind of want to like get into the process, really dedicate myself and just overall change my body and just my overall like health and how I'm eating and things like that. Because another piece that I really look at is like when you work in corporate world, it's so hard to continue to eat healthy when you're like, you go to lunch, you go on outings with like your peers, business, you get kind of out of shape and things like that. So for me, this is me completely changing my lifestyle back to what it was before. And I want to give myself a good length of time. That way I can transition into it and then, come out at the end knowing I gave it my all and kind of gave myself some time.
That's commendable because you still have that competitive streak within you that will stay with you for the rest of your life, I hope. But that you touched on something that I'm just going to go back to is that there's a big difference between your to-do list and your get-to-do list, right? So we all have our essentials, our to-do lists. We have to, I have kids, I have to, grocery shop, I have to cook meals, I have to clean the house. It's like my to-do list. I work full time. I have to pitch, I have to prepare, I have to edit, I do, all of my own social media. But then there's the part where your get to do list and that's what you talked about when you say, okay, I was in the corporate world. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. I didn't get to always choose what I put in my body. I didn't always get to my workouts every day because I was working for someone else and I didn't have the time, or there was all these other events. But there's that get to do list. Like we choose to work out. We choose what we put into our bodies. We choose what we drink, how much we sleep. We get to choose those things. And I think that a lot of people they just think of it as a burden versus, no, this is my healthy habits. This is exactly what I need to succeed. Right. So talk about your get to do list.
Yeah. So for me, like this piece, I definitely feel really hits hard in regards to, living that everyday life, making sure that you're both mentally and physically, the best you. And, every time that I kind of went to the corporate space, I felt like I was losing myself. And I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to that because, you're kind of forced to stay at a location from a certain time to the end of a certain time. You kind of get told when you kind of have to have lunch between. And, when you go from having like a really free, being able to make your own schedule and have your own structure, you're excited because you get to do everything it is that you want to do. Mm-hmm. But I found myself going into the corporate space and being so stressed out because it's like, okay, I know between 8 and 5, I have to do my business or, be at my corporate business. And then when I come home, I pretty much got to make up for the lost time with my business. And then on top of that, I got to make it to the gym. And then, oh, did I eat today? And I started to feel myself just mentally be really stressed and drained. and just feel like I was losing myself. So for me, it was so important to like think about, okay, what it is that I actually want to do and create my own to-do list and not have it be created for me. Because when it's created for you, you're not able to prioritize the things that you actually want to do. And that's why I feel like we find so many men and women, you know, in a mental space where they're not happy because they're not actually doing the things that they want to do with their life because they have to do things for survival at that point, which is completely understandable. But there's times where you have to look deep down at the things that you personally want to do. And if that means altering what you're doing for your career, then you have to do that. You have to do ultimately what makes you happy. And for me, that's why I had to make some of the choices I've made so far.
And you want to talk, I mean, I want to talk about, I mean, all of those things we all are blessed to get to do, right? We get to choose those things. And another thing that you get to choose to do, and what you are also very well versed at, is investing in real estate. And I wanted to touch on this again, because, you know, yes, you have your business, you have your competitions for your fitness competitions, you have your life as an influencer, you were just signed with Wild Lift Apparel, you know, you have paid partnerships that you have to make content for, but then you also are very proud of the fact of that you invest your money, you talk about real estate investment, you talk about investing, and that is something I just wanted to touch on briefly too, because I think a lot of our listeners are, you know, don't save and don't really, you know, take risks.
Yeah. And what you said there, like, especially when it comes to real estate, I started getting into that midway through my like master's degree. At some point, I wanted to strictly just do real estate and kind of focus on like investing in properties, flipping properties, having Airbnb locations in different parts of the world. And that's still something I'm working on building and doing as well. But I think it's so important that we take advantage of the little things we can invest into, because, you know, when you think of a property, you know, people are thinking of, oh, I have to spend like thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you really think about it, if you network with the right people, especially in the real estate realm, that know other investors or know people that you can connect with, you don't really have to invest a big lump sum of money up at front. There are many ways you can kind of go about investing. So like for me, when it comes to real estate, I want others to know that it sounds like it's such a big, you know, profit space where you have to spend a lot of money to get the return. And in certain situations there are, depending on the type of real estate that you're looking to invest into, but you can really start small and work your way. Because for me, I started off by, you know, in Milwaukee, just contracting properties, helping homeowners basically just resell their properties to investors that I knew. And then pretty much I was getting a profit by just helping the homeowner sell their property to my investor. So that was something small where I didn't even have to invest money at all. I pretty much was just contracting a house, the homeowner just like trusting me in the process, and then pretty much connecting with my investors on the side that were interested in the properties and getting them signed. And I was getting anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per property by just contracting and helping a homeowner, which is similar to being a real estate agent. So yeah,
that is amazing. Amazing. There's so many facets to your life, but it's good. It's good to dabble in all these different things, and then, you know, do what brings you joy, which is, you know, you have a lot on your plate for sure. There's, you know, I want to talk about the particular mindset of that, what Tamika has, because I am thinking, you know, that you have so many things going on. You have such, you know, you're so well versed in all these different areas, but like, what is it that you knew that you're heading in the right direction? Like, how do you achieve that stellar girl mindset?
Yeah. So, you know, when you discussed Stellar Girl, like I was so excited when we met and discussed the topic, because every day I look at your posts, I look at the things you say, and a Stellar Girl is literally someone who just is an all-star, who can motivate themselves, keep going, showing the world what can happen, what you can do, motivated to
we're limitless. We're limitless.
Yeah. Yes. And so for me, you know, most women don't like to think of themselves in like a high regard. They don't want to seem like they're being cocky or anything, but I know where I started and where I'm heading. And so for me, it's like, what makes me a stellar girl is the fact that I motivate myself, and I in ways motivate others without not even knowing it. But then also, like, I know the sky is literally the limit. Like, I can do anything I put my mind to. If I want to change, you know, things around, I can do that because it's my life and I can do it. But knowing that success is always there, you just have to work hard for it. So for me, I feel like what makes me a stellar girl is like the fact that I don't just stop once I achieve one thing. I keep reaching for more and more accomplishments and things that I know I'm going to be proud of, that I'd be happy once I succeed.
I am going to end with that, because that was Excellent. I mean, I can't think of a better way to end a Stellar Girl podcast than with those words. So thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey with us, Tamika. I will see you on the other side, and I will tag all of your handles and your businesses when we promote this episode. And it was so nice seeing you.
Yes, Teri, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Bye for now. See you on the other side.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of new episodes. To learn more about the Stellar Girl movement, please visit us at stellargirl.com.